An indescribable feeling of responsibility.
I was a happy man.
Knowing you were responsible for providing nourishment for your family and for your community. Not just for one meal, but sometimes for an entire year.
There's no greater honor for me than whaling. Feeding people was a great thing for me.
He's known around town simply as Uncle Joe, and he's been hunting whale off Point Hope for as long as he can remember.
I love paddling, chasing the whale.
In this Inupiaq village on the northwestern edge of Alaska, whaling is not only a tradition, but a way of life, providing subsistence for survival. Joe Frankson has nearly 70 years of whaling experience.
My grandfather, when I was around 10 years old, he let me go out to his crew, and I was a cook's helper.
Joe was perhaps destined to follow in his grandfather's footsteps. His grandfather had proudly started his own whaling crew back in the 1880s and taught Joe everything he knew.
I'm proud. Very proud.
When his grandfather passed away 45 years ago, Joe volunteered to take over as the crew's leader and has served proudly as its captain ever since. In a community that's entire identity revolves around the whale, being a whaling captain is the ultimate honor. It's a position that holds great responsibility, not just as a provider for his family, but for the long-term survival of the community itself.
I was proud to be a captain and feed people. Point Hope, everybody get a bite.
As is often the case with honor, risking one's own life is also a reality. For a whaling captain, that means taking on great odds for a higher purpose. But whales don't always respond to the years of experience of those that hunt them.
They can do anything with that little boat we got if they decide.
Great risk for great reward, and crews here seem to take those dangers in stride.
It was just a little bump, but our boat would bounce right out like a basketball.
45 years after assuming leadership of his grandfather's crew, Uncle Joe now claims a crew of more than 20.
Most of them are my family members. When I first started, they were my brothers and my brother-in-laws.
While Uncle Joe's 5'3" crew may all be related, the captain surprisingly says you don't necessarily have to be family to join.
If they volunteer, I'll take them. My grandpa used to tell me that any boy or a girl want to go help, we can't. We're not supposed to say no to them.
And while family relations may not be a prerequisite,
you can't do whaling by yourself. You have to have a crew.
Uncle Joe says there are some essential job qualifications, like patience, respect, and, well, the obvious.
You gotta be a good paddler.
Over the years, the 5'3" crew has been very successful according to the numbers. 20 whales, in fact. The Inupiaq here don't refer to the successful hunt as taking a whale, but rather receiving it, an acknowledgement to the whale for its life lost, for the survival of the native people.
I'm not proud of that part. You know how many whales I got.
What are you proud of?
Proud of getting a whale and feed people.
And after 45 years of providing food for his community, Uncle Joe recently decided it was time to pass the leadership of his 5'3" crew down to the next captain. A long and hard-earned promotion for both father and son.
I give it to my son. He's a captain. And I promote myself to admiral.
Pride is a given in this culture steeped in tradition. Tradition passed down from generation to generation for thousands of years. And just as it was with his grandfather's crew nearly 45 years ago, there is now a new whaling captain in Point Hope, experienced and ready for great responsibility.